What's happening, guys? So recently Dodge just did this tandem reveal of their EV Charger and their Hurricane Inline 6 turbocharger. The thing is it's difficult to talk about one of these vehicles without mentioning the other. In this case, I want to visit with you guys specifically about the EV variant. So let's dive into this car. It's got me a little bit conflicted. It's got a little bit of that muscly flair. It's got the big wheels and tires. That's fantastic for traction. It's got the look, I guess, or at least it's well on its way to trying to prove itself to be this muscle car, but it's really an EV that's masquerading as a muscle car. It's kind of difficult to call this thing muscle when it's all-wheel drive, and it basically does most of the driving for you through traction control programming. So what are you really wrangling here? I get it, the calling card of an EV is straight line performance, and this car does at least promise to give you a very strong dose of that. But you can't talk about EVs without talking about the Tesla Plaid, at least when we're talking about performance variants. And well, this is where the car starts to have a little bit of, well, I've got questions. Let's just put it that way. First of all, with the big tires and the questionable coefficient of drag that this car has, coupled with the fact that it's a performance vehicle, it's known that the range is going to be down. Dodge even admits to this. They didn't put this thing together for range and for taking long trips, things like that. It's supposed to be a personal electric vehicle hot rod. Okay, I can respect that, except for one thing. When you have a performance vehicle and you're driving it in a performance way, your range goes way down. As a matter of fact, it goes so far down that I'm curious as to what the real final range of this car is going to be. And you might say, well, what if you had an internal combustion engine? They don't have much in terms of range. They get bad gas mileage if you drive them hard. Well, anything does, I suppose. But yes, all of that's true. But you have the convenience of going to a gas station, which are basically on every corner. That's the beauty of an internal combustion engine. And it's not just the fact that it's gas. It's that it takes all of 5-7 minutes to fill up a tank from empty. That's not the case with an EV, which brings me to another point. Remember that convenience thing in range? Well, you do have to charge the car. And, well, it's not like you can just go to any charging station on the corner. In many cases, the only place that this car can be charged conveniently is at your home overnight. Well, here's the issue with that. If you're going to be relying on this vehicle, regularly driving it, commuting, you're going to have a fast charger at your house. But that assumes that you have the house, of course, to put the fast charger into at considerable expense and some decent amount of liability. We are talking about very high voltages here. And, well, we all know what EVs can do if something goes wrong during charging or battery overheating. There's this little issue with these batteries exploding, maybe that's a rough way to put it, but catching on fire, a fire that you can't easily put out. This is where a lot of folks really have a bit of an issue with EVs and charging at home. So now you're kind of stuck in a bit of a, well, it's a bit of a quandrum, really. Do you buy the car and only try to charge it at charging stations, which could be very few and far between, or do you charge the thing at home with the hope that everything just goes well, which it normally does? But it's not the normally does portion of this worry that worries people. It's when it doesn't normally go well, it goes catastrophically and horrifically bad. But that's just EV life, right? You take that chance when you buy one, and you don't mind that. You've got the resources, so you're not too much worried about it. What is it about EVs that makes manufacturers, or at least has a philosophy from manufacturers, that they are so far and away better and far and away convenient than their gasoline counterparts? I think that there's a bit of a privilege thing that comes into play when we start talking about EVs. The privilege of owning a home and having the resources to own the charging and to have your home rewired for that charging. The idea that you're going to have a vehicle that you're buying that has very poor range, admittedly, And the only thing that it would do very well is accelerate in a straight line, in a convincing manner. Well, again, that's all fine, but at what cost? You see, you can't talk about a performance-minded EV without talking about the Tesla Plaid. Here lately, Tesla Plaids check in at around $90,000. Not an insignificant sum, mind you, but where is this EV from Dodge going to check in? And really, I'm talking about the one that you want to buy, not the RT version. I'm talking about the Scat Pack, the bigger horsepower version. If this thing comes in anywhere near $65,000, $70,000, it would be basically a waste of time and money to buy because the Plaid is just a little bit of a higher step up in terms of price, but a massive step up in terms of performance. It is, in fact, the benchmark standard, and with at least an 80% charge, will run low 9s in the quarter mile. And it will kind of do that on the street too, not just on a prepared surface, the way other vehicles from Dodge absolutely have to get any inkling of performance out of them. So, what are we really left with? A very expensive toy that you can plug in at your very expensive house with your very expensive charger. Is that what this car is going to end up being? I would love to hear from you guys if this video finds you in the future. What, if you've bought one, have you done with it? What's your ownership experience like? Let us know in the past what future you, how did it work out for you? And if you're still in the present day watching this, are you going to buy one? Are you thinking about buying one? Does it interest you? Do EVs in general interest you, and is that why you're looking into them? And why is it, if EVs do interest you so very much, can you explain to me then why Ford, for example, at the time of the videoing of this video, they're offering so many incentives to try to get rid of the Lightning truck and the Mach-E's that they have on the dealership showroom floors and out on the lot. Help me to understand that. If it's such a great thing, why would you have to run sales and specials just to get folks enticed enough to show up to maybe spend money on these things? A lot of these vehicles aren't landing well, guys. Markets decided that EVs really aren't all that great of a proposition. A lot of folks are scared to death of them for a multitude of reasons. And so because of that, well, they don't seem to be finding homes the way that manufacturers had hoped. Post up your comments, let me know what you think, and we will catch you guys on the next one.